Your movie, my movie, their movie, our movie. Your movie, my movie, their movie, our movie. Your movie, my movie, their movie, our movie. Yeah!
Hi, welcome to Your Movie, My Movie with Dan and Steve.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Steve. This is a podcast where one of us picks a movie to watch and we discuss it together. In this episode, we're talking about one of my picks, the 1992 movie Freejack, starring Emilio Estevez, Mick Jagger, Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins, Jonathan Banks, and David Johansen. It was written by Stephen Pressfield, Ronald, I'm taking a stab at this, Shusett, and Dan Gilroy, and was directed by Jeff Murphy. We will be talking about spoilers, so if you want to watch the movie first, now's the time to do so. But before we talk about the movie, Dan, who would you recommend this movie to?
I would recommend this movie to teenagers who want to see what the 90s were really like.
And to see what people in the 90s thought the 2000s would be like.
Yes. Because this movie takes place in 2009. And it's a little different than 2009 turned out.
Yeah, just a tad.
Just a little, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, kind of. It's pretty accurate in a way.
We didn't have cars like that. we did not have cars like that.
We didn't have cars like that, but we had, McCandless people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have that now, of course. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Steven, who would you recommend this movie for?
I would recommend this movie for people who want to see Mick Jagger giving it his all to steal a show that is not worth stealing. In an alternate timeline where this movie is a blockbuster, we would have gotten the Mick Jagger Smash and Action Variety Hour. and I wish we lived in that timeline.
That would have been amazing. I would have loved to see Mick Jagger in more things.
I know, right? He steals a show in this movie.
I don't know if he steals the show.
Oh, no. He's the most... he by far gives the most interesting, the best performance out of everybody. I think so.
Okay.
I always paid attention when Mick Jagger was on screen.
That's true. He does have the presence. Undeniably.
Yeah. Well, the line delivery.
True. There's one that's like, I wrote it down. One of his first lines is, "Okay, let's do it."
Yeah, that's his first line.
It's so good.
I think it's like the first line in the movie. So
good.
Yeah. It's okay. So there are two things that are absolutely great about this movie, but I don't know when you want to talk about them. And it's the screenplay and it's the score.
Yes. Well, also the cinematography is great.
Oh, you think so?
I thought so.
Okay, yeah. So do you want to talk about the plot of the movie, or do you want to talk about what's great about this movie?
First, I didn't actually mind this movie. I thought it was fine. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed watching it. I wasn't bored.
Well, let's give a rundown about what people think about this movie.
Okay.
People kind of think it's
the people who have heard of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So this movie came out in 1992, and it was a box office bomb. And most of the actors since then have they're kind of ashamed of it. At the time, they kind of derided it, and I don't think Mick Jagger has done a on-screen performance in an acting role since this movie.
What a shame.
Yeah, I know.
For real. We gotta write a screenplay for him.
Well, the thing is but the Mick Jagger of the 1990s is not the Mick Jagger of the 2020s. So
sure, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's unfortunate. But I mean, he can still do voice-over roles.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to get him in some animated movies.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what were you saying?
Or
Everyone
making
was
like the voice of a computer.
like a Jarvis type character?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Have Mick Jagger as your Jarvis.
You know,
hey, Mick Jagger as your Siri.
You know what they should? Marvel should have Paul Bettany. He's the voice of Jarvis, or at least he was. He's also the actor for Vision. But what they should do is they should get Mick Jagger to be the voice for War Machine.
That would be hardcore.
And he is just like this character.
Yeah. That'd be badass.
Yeah. Gatling gun activated. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, what else do people think about this movie? And then it was a box office failure.
Yeah. It was a box office bomb. The actors didn't like it much. And so, like, this movie, it's a cult movie, but it's a cult movie if you like bad movies. People do know about this movie. But, like, it's mostly, if you're around in the 90s, to watch it on HBO, like I did. Like, I watched this back when it was on HBO one time.
So is this the second time you watched it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow. I didn't mind it that much. I didn't think it was the worst.
It's not that bad.
No,
it's a very middle movie.
But maybe that's because my taste is being ruined slightly. I don't know. I blame you. Just kidding.
No. I'll take that blame. Well, I also think, like, another reason why it was a box office bomb is because, like, it went terribly over budget.
Yeah, it looked like it. I can't believe that was another amazing thing about this movie. The set design, the costume design, the on-screen stuff was amazing. The mise en scene.
Yeah. The set design, it really reminded me a lot of, like, Demolition Man.
Haven't seen it.
Which is a terrible, terrible shame. Terrible shame. There's so many great memes from that movie. Yeah.
The set design reminded me of, anything steampunk, like Blade Runner. It honestly reminded me a little of Dune, just like the, David Lynch's Dune. But in the fact that I feel like they had those I don't know what it's called, but where they have, a composite of two different shots. So that you can see, like, further back in the horizon, like it's like a replacement of part of the image. I don't know, it just looked really cool, but you can tell it's very, like, it's a style decision. Maybe you couldn't have necessarily picked it out when it first came out because that was commonplace, that was the tools they used, but now
you mean for, like, effect shot, or
like effect shot, or even like there's one shot where I think they're going up an elevator.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it's totally blue screen or whatever, but it still looks cool.
Yeah, that technology, though, it was pretty nice because, like, now that I know how all that's done, I keep an eye out for it. You can see in Emilio Estevez's hair, like, between the strands of his hair, you can still see, what they composited in.
Yeah.
That's the kind of detail I look for.
Yeah.
Because nowadays it's a lot tougher to, get those points, in Premiere Pro or the other Adobe one, After Effects. Yeah. Oh. Because now what they would do is instead of bothering with all that, they would have just made a CGI version of his head and replaced it. Because that's kind of what they did for. I'm sure that's what they did for Orlando Bloom's character, Legolas, in the Hobbit movies. Because it's cheaper to replace him with a full CGI model person than to, like, film his scenes and then composite that in with the other CGI
like
stuff.
they do with the Avengers, they just have their faces. They replace everything with their faces.
Yeah, exactly.
That's still insane to me.
Well, the movie that's most egregious about that is the Huntsman movies.
I don't know if I've seen those.
They're the ones with Chris Hemsworth. And the first one had Keira Knightley, I believe.
Okay.
But they also have Charlize Theron.
Is that where she, like, bathes in milk?
I think so. Or gold. But the point of it is like, it's based off of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. So what they did was, they hired little people actors, but they replaced their face with they just replaced their face with like the guy from Hot Fuzz.
Simon Pegg.
The other one. Nick Frost.
I think that's it. Yeah, Nick Frost.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's insane.
Yes.
That reminds me of Little Man, the Wayne Brothers movie.
I know the movie you're talking about. I haven't seen it.
That's another example of egregious face replacement.
And you talked to me about me ruining your taste in movies.
Hey, I watched that movie like
a
few months ago because my friends wanted me to see it. So I didn't watch it on my own. It had some funny parts.
Okay, I believe.
It was also very creepy. It didn't age very well. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
So yeah, the effects for Freejack. Yeah.
Fantastic. Really, actually, like, and it all looked like cohesive, like the style of the movie, the visual style. It all worked very, very well together, I thought.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought it was pretty good looking.
Yeah. I really enjoy the set design.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you said it was steampunk. I think it's more cyberpunk, but like more.
Yeah, my bad. You're right.
But more like cheap cyberpunk, like Johnny Mnemonic is.
Haven't seen it.
I know that will change.
Yes, I'm excited to see it.
That will change.
But I mean, I think that.
But also like Demolition Man, and Demolition Man, like that's. I mean. I don't think that's like post cyberpunk, but in like a different way, like utopian utopian post cyberpunk, in much the same way as like Star Trek would be like post apocalyptic, like post apocalyptic, because that's about a utopian society. But it's like it's just so funny. It's like no matter in what future you like, no matter in what time period you're in, the future is always curvy.
Yes. Good rule of thumb, everyone.
It's always curvy.
I think the weirdest thing was the cars. I think the cars look really weird. But it's hard to, I mean, if you're going to have cars with wheels, then it's hard to dress them up any super differently from how they are.
Well, I mean, they're always curvier than what we're used to, and they always have the gull wing doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another reason for us to watch Demolition Man, because they're much the same. So.
Okay. I feel like they just recycled the cars at this point.
No. I thought of that, but they didn't, because the cars look so different. They look so different. I mean, the cars of this one, they also kind of remind me of Total Recall, the original Total Recall. Mm-hmm. Because in that one, they had the Johnny Cab.
Yes.
And there was like that pod in front with the robot that drove it. Mm-hmm. And in this one, there's like, you have the cab for the passenger in the back. And then completely outside of that, like outside, is the driver. So it's like, I guess, that's what the little laptop is there for. So they can communicate back and forth from each other.
Interesting. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah. Well,
like the driver's side is in front and open air and not connected to the passenger cab.
I'm trying to think of what you're talking about, because I'm thinking about the cab in the beginning when he's like, yo, taxi. And it's a guy who tries
no. I'm thinking about the one where Boone drives.
The bodyguard,
yeah, the bodyguard drives Rene Russo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. I didn't pay that much attention to the car. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
That would make sense, though. The laptops are how they communicate.
Well, do you want to talk about the best car in this movie?
The best car in this movie?
The Bollinger Champagne delivery car?
Oh, yes. The station wagon. That was hardcore. That was you died when that happened. That was amazing. Is this your truck?
Ugh.
The company's? What do you say? Is this the company's truck?
I don't know. I just saw that big hulky thing with that big, that shell,
yes,
with the Bollinger, and it's so funny.
It's like oak wood shells.
Yeah,
probably weigh like 700 pounds.
Yeah. It looks like something out of the 70s. But it carries champagne to like this condo.
Yes.
In this dystopian future where it's dropping off champagne. I'm like, oh yeah, you would need to bring a shitload of champagne and just drop it off and have it delivered into a condo like that where all the elites live in. Yeah, that makes total sense to me now.
It does. It does make sense. It doesn't make the sense that it would be in a 70s station wagon, but...
Yeah. I mean, they deliver it like they deliver water.
Oh, the champagne man's here again, honey.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if they have like a special like thing where they like take the bottle and they dump it real quick, and then you just put your wine glass in there. You know what I mean? With the water bottles.
Yeah, with like a champagne dispenser. Yeah. That'd be fantastic.
It would be. Why don't we have that now?
I don't know.
Our future got stolen.
It's the future already. Come on,
we
guys.
don't have any flying cars. And we don't have, upside down champagne bottle.
And we don't have spiritually ascended bodies that can replace our brains yet. Come on.
Well, that's because we wouldn't be able to afford them anyway. So
we don't know. We could.
That is true.
We could.
That is true.
Could be a bunch of billionaires just walking around amongst us.
Mm-hmm.
Although those are all the rude people in line.
Mm-hmm. Using time travel to...
That's Rockefeller,
Mm-hmm.
He's just,
Yeah.
a teenager now.
Yeah, a teenager who would have died, but...
Mm-hmm. Anyways.
But Mick Jagger...
But Mick Jagger saved him.
Pulled him out of time.
Mick Jagger snatched him from the grips of oblivion.
Because that's what bone jackers do.
Because that's what Mick Jagger does.
That's true.
Sir Mick Jagger. He got knighted?
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
What
I liked about this movie
was...
Emilio Estevez, watching all these performances of him, he acts.
Yeah.
He acts.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a big range, I wouldn't say.
I don't know. I think he has a good enough range because, like, the thing is, because we haven't watched all those, like, have you seen Young Guns?
No.
See, he plays a very different character, a little bit of a different character in Young Guns. He plays a very different character in Men at Work, which we will see sooner or later. And then there's the Mighty Ducks. There's nothing. There's a little bit of Mighty Ducks because Alex Furlong, his character in this, is a bit of an asshole. But he kind of stays an asshole, and it's a good thing for him in this movie. Whereas he needs a redemption arc in Mighty Ducks.
He's an asshole in Repo Man too.
That's true. Mm-hmm. But everybody's an asshole in that movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just mean that I don't see like a ton of emotion from him in depths.
Yeah.
As far as his performances.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he does the job.
Yeah, he's softwood. Like a wooden actor, but it's a soft wood. He gets the job done, I think. Yeah.
It's a good analogy, I think.
He shouldn't yell. He shouldn't be in roles where he has to yell.
What, does he yell in this?
Yeah. When he's on the surgery table and he's like, "What kind of hospital is this? What kind of hospital is this?" And that's why you shouldn't yell. Like, you can't be in roles where he has to yell.
Because it doesn't sound convincing?
Yeah, it doesn't sound convincing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, again, I think he did a good job in this, but his character wasn't the most interesting part to me.
No.
It's all the side characters who have these wonderful, interesting little moments. I think that's what really brings this movie up. Mm-hmm. And my favorite part of the whole movie is the river rat cook.
Oh, yeah.
Frankie
Faison.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We can get to that later if you want.
In Maximum Overdrive.
Yes, the Goblin truck driver.
Yeah. And he also plays Barney in the Hannibal Lecter movies. He also was in Manhunter, which was the adaptation of Red Dragon before Silence of the Lambs. He was also in Trading Places.
White Chicks.
Oh, okay, there you go, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie Faison gets around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was... That was such an interesting bit.
That was.
in this movie. Because basically Emilio Estevez, he sees how far America has fallen in the 10 years.
18
years. I can't do math.
I just remember it because she said it.
Okay, that's fair. In the 18 years, and he's like, what does it all come, is it worth it anymore? I think that's what he asked himself.
Yeah.
Is it all worth it anymore? And then Frankie Faison goes on this parable about this eagle who goes through all these hardships to get food for his children. And then right when he's about to get there are two X's in his eyes, just like in the cartoons, and he falls dead. Have you seen an eagle do that? No. That's because the eagle's got too much self-respect. And that's how Emilio Estevez finds his to carry on through this adventure.
Yes. He riddles me. The ancient riddle.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
I just thought I like that bit. Because that's the part where I think it's like, it shows that this movie has some sort of themes. Not that it actually delves into them very much, but...
Well, the funniest thing about that is when Boone, Rene Russo's bodyguard, he is like escorting him like somewhere.
Yeah.
You can't tell if it's... I can't remember if it's to McCandless or if it's not.
No, he's escorting him to the boat.
Okay,
his escape route, which McCandless has supposedly arranged.
Okay, that's why. Okay. And so Boone is like, yeah, man, you're a hero. You're a hero to my grandma. You're a hero to the 8 million people here. And I'm like, for what? I know they're trying to get, these people are downtrodden and he's a rebel and he's sticking it to, the 1% by being on the run for so long. But it's like, we don't see that.
Yeah, we don't see the people treating him as a hero.
Yeah, we only see that in that bar.
Yes.
Where he runs around and they're like, furlong.
Yeah.
That's it.
I could see it happening, but we don't see it. It's not shown.
Yeah. It's not
That's
adequately depicted as being that epic in scale.
Yeah. I think this movie is good. It's just like, it doesn't have the heart that like Strange Days had.
Yeah.
Or Blade Runner or any of these sci-fi.
I don't know. I don't think the problem is the heart. I think it doesn't play up to the premises that it wants to play up to. Because, the premise here is that there's these dystopian mega corporation and like they're so filthy rich they can steal people's body back in time from right before they're supposed to die so the wealthy can be virtually immortal.
Yeah.
And so like that's the big thing. But the movie's not about those things. The movie is about this guy who has been snatched out of time and is now on the run from bounty hunters and bone jackers, and he's trying to figure out what's going on.
I think what would have been interesting is if we would have followed a character like his old handler, his old manager. What is his name again? Bruce?
Brad. Played by David Johansen, who is also known by the stage name Buster Poindexter of, who made the song who made the famous song Hot Hot Hot.
Oh, I don't know Buster Poindexter, but I know the name. Yeah,
he was in the New York Dolls, which apparently is a proto-punk and early punk band.
Oh, he was in... Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I've listened to them.
Okay, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he also played the Ghost of Christmas Past in Scrooged.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. Well, that's a mainstream movie, and, it's fun.
Yeah, it looks like a good one. It's Bill Murray, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, I think it would have been interesting if almost he had been the main character, and then he has to, like, sort of deliver... He has to sort of go through a hero arc where he decides to change and save humanity by, I don't know, doing something.
Brad?
Yeah.
Buster Poindexter?
Yeah. I don't know. Like a side character who gets delivered this miracle of this escaped Freejack who is in a position of a pivot of power. It would have been interesting as a sort of guide into the world. I don't know.
Okay. I think if the movie should have followed any other character, it should have followed... No, we haven't gotten to the nun.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
We'll talk about how nun... Let's not forget to talk about how great the nun is.
We're not going to forget.
Okay.
I not gonna
might, because I'm talking about Mick Jagger.
I'm not gonna forget.
Okay, Mick Jagger. You follow Mick Jagger's character.
Interesting.
How about this guy? He's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically a mercenary who protects the actual machines that snatch the people out of time. Yeah. This is just his job.
Yeah.
But he's doing it because he needs the money. It's like nothing's personal with him.
Yeah.
He just wants to do a good job. He wants to do what he's hired to do.
Interesting.
And so he's caught between the powerful elite who want this unethical thing to keep them immortal.
Mm-hmm.
He's caught between them and the people and the victims of the elite whose bodies they take. So he's the one with the big ethical questions, the ethical conflict there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I just wanted to see more of the down and dirty effects of the super rich and the super poverty, Well, I mean, that's not the right way of saying it, but you know what I mean?
Well, that's how you could explore it, by him dealing with these ultra wealthy clients and then getting down in the muck to chase after the Freejacks. But then that movie would be called Bonejackers.
Which would be amazing. It sounds so cool.
Although, I mean, Bonejackers.
Sorry, it took me a minute.
Yeah.
You could come up with a different word.
Well, I mean, the title would still be Freejack.
Skulljackers. What about that?
No, the title would still be Freejack, but there are different Freejacks with every episode, because I think this should be a TV show.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Could pitch it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, right? Freejack the TV show.
To all our Hollywood friends, you could pitch it to all the people that we know in the industry.
Well, I mean, we'd have to get the rights to Freejack, so it depends on how much they're willing to sell these TV rights for.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's always fun to think about retooling movies as far as what characters you could actually follow. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's hard to make a movie. It's hard to write a movie. And you never know if that would actually be better or not.
Yeah.
Until you write it and see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this movie stood up as well to like Strange Days or Blade Runner or things like that.
Mm-hmm. But it's not as bad as you thought it would be.
No, definitely not. Mm-hmm. Definitely not. I thought it was going to be crap.
Uh-huh.
But I guess it makes sense because this was an A movie. And so the production value was there. And you had Hollywood experts working on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the themes weren't super elevated, the making of the film was pretty, not elevated, but artistically done by experts in the field. So like the script has got some wonderful lines in there.
Oh my God.
And
the dialogue in this movie is incredible.
Yes.
It's got some of the best lines in all of cinema.
Oh, can I wrote one down.
Okay.
When they're trying to revive Emilio Estevez after they just jacked him or whatever, the paramedic is like, I wouldn't want to dance to it, but it's a pulse.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. Let's see. It was a slip of the tongue. And then Rene Russo says the line, it was a slip of the tongue. And then Emilio Estevez says, I like that slip. I like that tongue, too.
Yes, that was great. And it was natural.
I like your mouth.
I was just thinking of that exact thing when I heard that. I was like, Steven's going to love that.
Nibble my ear for luck.
That was a little bit that was interesting.
Get the meat.
Yes, get the meat. Yes. I wrote that down too. Oh man. I knew the thing is though, like it's so being like an avid movie watcher, it's like I get sick of the devices.
Yeah.
Because like I knew as soon as you said nibble my ear and you like made a big deal of it, and she was like, oh no, I don't want to, that's weird. I was like, that's gonna be in the end. That's gonna be the end. I was just waiting for it the entire movie.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh.
What other lines do we have?
The
nun. The nun, like one of her first words. Holy shit!
Oh no. Oh yeah. Okay. So the shot the shotgun nun, as I like to call her, the shot nun, is played by Amanda Plummer.
I need to see what else.
She is Christopher Plummer's daughter. Christopher Plummer from The Sound of Music and Star Trek VI, among many other movies.
Yeah.
But she played Honey Bunny in Pulp Fiction, and she was also in So I Married an Axe Murderer. That's where I know her the most from. But she's been in a ton of stuff.
Oh, she's been in a ton of things.
Yeah, right now she's playing in Picard, the Star Trek.
Oh.
Yeah, as the big villain.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
Anyways.
And so
her character's amazing in this.
Yeah. In Emilio Estevez, he snuck into the church just to have a place of sanctuary. And then he wakes up, and then Amanda Plummer in her nun outfit walks down, and she pulls out her shotgun, and they talk, and Emilio Estevez goes, "What is it they called me? Pathetic? A Freejack. Holy shit."
Don't sister me.
Yeah. Another great line of hers. Sometimes I wonder if the good Lord has forsaken us all to be letting this kind of shit go on. But the absolute best is when Jonathan Banks has captured her and, is trying to rough her up to get information. So he slaps her, and she responds by giving him a punch in the balls.
Yes.
And she goes, "The good Lord says to turn the other cheek, but he never really had to deal with dickheads like you." So that's the caliber of dialogue in this script. It's incredible. I fucking love it.
Yes. Whichever one of those three screenwriters wrote those lines.
Yeah. Well, so the movie gives a story by credit to Stephen Pressfield and Ronald Shusett. So I think those two were the original writers of the script, and then they brought Dan Gilroy in to maybe punch it up.
Yeah, that's
what I'm thinking. And also, Dan Gilroy is Rene Russo's husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and they're still married to this day, I believe.
Oh, wow. What else? Yeah. What else he's written?
I think he was the writer and maybe director of Nightcrawler, in fact.
No way. The movie?
Yeah,
with the movie, where's the reporter or whatever?
Yeah, he was the writer and director of Nightcrawler.
Oh wow.
He was the story writer for Real Steel. He wrote The Bourne Legacy, Kong Skull Island. So, 3 episodes of Andor. Wow,
that's really interesting. Okay,
yeah.
So I mean, there were talented people writing the script.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know which of them wrote that dialogue.
Yeah.
But whoever it was, that was incredible dialogue, and I thank you for it.
Yes. Yes, the world thanks you.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm trying to think what else I was going to say. I lost it.
Okay, no worries. So,
there's another line.
Okay.
You keep looking at me, you'll see me kill you. I love that line. That's great.
Yeah, I just love the back and forth that Mick Jagger and Emilio Estevez had in that chase.
Yes.
Where Mick Jagger was talking to him through the laptop, and then Emilio Estevez would close the laptop, and then the laptop would automatically pop open for Mick Jagger to rag on his ass again.
Yes.
It's great that they live in a future where they still can't escape cyberbullying.
That was nice, Stephen.
Thank you.
I did love, though, the freaking car chases in this movie. Like, half the movie is a car chase. I mean, it makes sense because of the character of, what is his name? Alex Furlong is a race car driver. So it's cool. I like how they use his character to, like, make these awesome set pieces. And, like, there's a lot of cool car chases in this movie. Like, it reminded me, when he gets on the dirt bike, it reminds me of, like, the Bourne dirt bike chase. I don't know. I just love... I'm a sucker for a good car chase. And there was a lot of interesting set pieces that I liked. And I don't know. I honestly didn't know what was going to happen when he's on the bridge And that was a nice surprise. He just jumps off.
That's another great line. He jumps off into one of the rivers in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it Mick Jagger says?
If he takes one swallow of that water, I'm out of a job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah. And, I just want to go through the great lines.
I do too, but like, yeah.
You Marmaduke looking moron. I gotta keep that one loaded. I mean, yeah, he acted, David Johansen. He was great in this movie.
Yeah, I thought he was wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny because, like, at the beginning you see him like real well dressed up as the manager, in a sleek business outfit, and his hair slicked back, and then you find him, see him 18 years later, and he's like, his skin's all gray, and he's just grubby looking, and he looks exactly like the character he looked like in playing the Ghost of Christmas Past and Scrooge. Like, it's uncanny.
He reminded me of the taxi driver from Heavy Metal or something. Like,
yeah. Oh well, I mean, I did get those kind of vibes in this movie, with the dystopia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When Alex Furlong was going through the area where there's like a lot of poor people, I think this was after the Frankie Faison part. That really reminded me of the beginning of They Live. The John Carpenter movie.
I know it. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
That's the one with all the propaganda, right?
Yeah, the subliminal messaging.
The ideology, to quote.
Yeah.
What is his face? Have you watched that one philosopher, the Slav Zizek, whatever?
I don't think so.
He's really interesting. Anyways, he had like a whole dissection of that.
Of what?
Of They Live. It was just,
okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
okay.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. I'll have to watch They Live soon.
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
But how did we get there? Forget.
We were talking about something, and then I started talking about David Johansen.
Yes, the reminder of the poor people in the scene brought you to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like again the atmosphere of a good cyberpunk movie. Really bathes in the atmosphere. I think this movie did that in a lot of ways. And again, just the way everything looked was fantastic. Like, the lighting was wonderful. You had, like, when he's in the church, he was laying down by the altar, and you have these, like, wonderful heavenly rays of light.
Yeah.
And then he gets up, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" It's like a lovely contrast. But there's so much, just the light was just beautiful in this movie.
Yeah, the lighting was great in this movie, for sure. Mm-hmm.
It was wonderful. Like, I liked it. I mean, the whole cinematography. That was just the part of it that I was noticing. But one other thing I wanted to talk about was Jonathan Banks.
Yeah, Jonathan Banks.
He's great. He's great. I mean, he's always great. But
he doesn't get enough roles. Like, I don't think he's ever really been a leading man, you know, but like when he has a role, and it's kind of a shame because like most of the time he just plays supporting roles, because like the main things that I've seen him in he was in 48 Hours, and he was in it for a minute. He played a tough cop, and then he was also in Beverly Hills Cop, where he played the bodyguard for the bad guy. And so, like, those are the two big things I've seen him in. But I know he's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he's one of those actors that, like, from the 50s and stuff, where you have these wonderful stock actors who will just
character actors.
Yeah. They'll just play the heavy, but they'll play the hell out of any heavy.
Yeah.
And he's in Community. Have you seen his character in Community?
I haven't watched Community.
It's great. He's like this like terrifying, mysterious teacher. Anyways,
well, he's actually in an episode of Deep Space Nine. Yeah. So there's this planet, and there's like these weapon satellites that destroy any ships that orbit it. And so crew of Deep Space Nine didn't know, and it got too close, and so they got shot down. So, like, he's part of this war tribe. But the thing is like, there's nanites in the atmosphere. So whenever one of them dies, the nanites bring them back to life again, but they can't leave the planet. And so it's like, he looks like something out of the Road Warrior. Where he has, like, these, badass, like, shoulder pads with spikes on them. And he has, like, one side of his head is bald, while the other side is just long and black.
Hell yeah.
And I think, like, he has scars on his face. Yeah.
Lovely. I want to see it.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
I'm glad he's getting more recognition with Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm glad that he was able to get those roles even in his later years to show just how great of an actor he really is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that one thing I wanted to, like, I don't know what I wanted to say about it, but when he shows up in the end, like, there's like this just awesome shot. What is his name? Freaking Estevez, whatever. Mm-hmm. Estevez is just about to, he's like fighting with Anthony Hopkins to retain control of his brain.
Right.
And then Jonathan Banks' character just shows up and he's like this masked in shadow as like the aperture. It's like a James Bond tunnel, but it just opens up and it's just like this freaking gorgeous, awesome shot of Jonathan Banks just all bloody and just brooding, looking at them. And it's just, I don't know. I just loved that shot. I was like, oh snap.
It was like was it like a, what do you call it?
Reveal?
No. A cubic glare?
Cubic glare. I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah. Well, kind of. Sort of. It was also just like, just this cool reveal. I don't know. I don't know what his facial expression. Reveal. Yeah. I don't remember what his facial expression was, but it was basically like a cubic glare.
Well, I mean, the funniest bit of acting he did was when he got hit in the balls.
Yes. And I was about to say earlier, I was like, he sort of only has one facial expression. And then in my mind, I was like, no, he doesn't. We saw another facial expression in this movie.
He does his best. And I think it works for the comedy.
It works. It was a little much, I felt like, but I don't know. Yeah, it was also great.
You got to ease the tension a bit. That's the only reason why that scene's in there is to ease the tension for a bit, because she doesn't come back later, and she doesn't give them any information, and we don't know what happens to her. So she just disappears after that point.
That's true.
So the only reason why the scene's there is so that we can make fun of Jonathan Banks getting shot in the nuts.
He gets slapped and shot in the nuts. It's great.
Yeah, he's really... So I just recently found this out, but one of Jonathan Banks' early roles, apparently, was for like an educational video from like an educational movie from like the 60s or the 70s.
Okay.
And so, so he plays like a teenager and he's there with his teenage girlfriend and they're bowling, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, you're starting to be a good bowler. Why you're starting to beat me? How come you're such a good bowler all of a sudden? She's like, well, I just got my period. What? It's an educational video about, for women, teenage girls, when they get their menstruation cycle going, when they hit puberty.
They become good bowlers?
Well, I mean, this was written by men in the 70s, so maybe that's what they thought, I mean, there's that trope, where women... when women come into their power, it's through puberty, like when they come of age and then, they get all these witchcraft powers and, those kind of things. So maybe...
Maybe one of their secret witch powers is bowling. I believe it. Okay. I believe all women have the secret ability to bowl better than any man.
Well, I'm just going to chalk it up to the feminine mystique.
Yes. So. What is I in high school we studied the Epic of Gilgamesh. And there's like a line where there's like a woman who basically seduces this wild beast of a man. And she teaches him the way of the women or whatever, the way of the woman, or I forget what the exact line is. But my teacher was like, I wonder what that really means. Like, I don't know. It's just it is really random aside that I brought up. But I was always like, what does that even mean? It's just weird.
I don't know. I mean, having not researched it at all, I would think it might be...
I mean, it's like, it's
gender roles?
And
maybe gender roles?
Gender roles, maybe, but also the sort of... Yeah, I guess gender roles.
Well, I saw this thing on Reddit just today, actually, where they were talking about in ancient Sumer, I think. And a woman was the ruler, but she was the king. And they referred to her in her role as king using male pronouns. So when she acted as the king, they called her him. They used he, him pronouns for that. And not only that, but when they cast the coins under her reign, under the reign of the queen who's the king, they gave her image a beard.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. And there was also a story where, there was a man who did, I think he was like he did like strategy or something, which was a traditionally woman thing to do. So they used female pronouns for him in that role. And they didn't bring it up. They didn't explain it because if you brought it up, it'd be insulting to them. It's just the way their culture worked.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Very interesting.
So Freejack. Sorry, I'm terrible with transitions, but that is an interesting aside. I don't know why or how we got to there.
Jonathan Banks talking about.
Oh yeah. Boy, that was a long
Banks
tangent.
is a wonderful actor.
Yeah, he is, and he does a wonderful job at getting kicked in the balls.
Yeah, for sure.
That was so funny though. Whenever
and just taking shit all throughout this movie.
Yes. So freaking Furlong and what is his girlfriend's name in the movie? Julie. He lets them off the hook.
Yeah. I
mean, supposedly. He's like, you're free to go because I'm going to take over McCandless's body or whatever. And then she slaps him in the face. I was just like, boy, y'all dumb as hell.
Yeah, he got slapped in the face, he got punched in the balls, and then he got shot up by Mick Jagger.
I just mean, like, he could kill them easily, so why are they slapping him in the face?
Well, then the story wouldn't go on.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he put her through all that pain and turmoil, and he also was trying to kill Emilio Estevez before Mick Jagger could grab him, so Anthony Hopkins can steal his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why she slapped him.
Yeah.
But I was just like, it doesn't matter.
But then he changes his mind as the elevators go down.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever changed his mind.
Well, that's true too.
But anyways, I did like the bit. I mean, it's a twist, it's a plot twist. But I like that in the end we find out Mick Jagger didn't care that Furlong wasn't McCandless anymore. He's just like, he just wanted Banks gone.
Yeah. Well, he was tired. Like, he didn't give a shit anymore. He liked him. He liked Emilio Estevez. So
he did.
Like, yeah. We'll stick around.
And
I'm getting paid anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about, you mentioned the part where Anthony Hopkins and Emilio Estevez, they do the mind transference, right?
Yes.
Did you notice that the device they used was shaped like a jack? What's like the jack from?
Oh.
Yeah, it's pointy up and down, and then it's got 4 things with the balls at the end.
That's so cool and weird.
And like the top of the building, it looks like a jack because there's the top of the tower, and then there's the 4 things with the balls at the end, and that's where the ending takes place at.
That's cool.
Is it?
I like it. I thought it was cool. It's nice when
it's
people...
a little on the nose.
Sure. I like when people make things interesting shapes instead of uninteresting shapes.
Okay.
I'll say that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's valid.
And I liked that when they were walking through the tunnel, it was like this cool like mirror, this ring of mirrors. I don't know. There's a lot of cool shots in this movie. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I like when they're walking into the lobby and you see their feet walking, but you also see in the reflection of the marble all the soldiers. That was also really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Also, it's cool. Anyways,
very cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, like the sequence where they're in the virtual reality of Anthony Hopkins' mind.
So cool.
Okay.
It's so cool. I'm a sucker for that because that stuff as a kid I used to love, and it used to freak me out in a weird way because it's like, whoa, what is reality? And give me sort of an existential crisis. And it still
worked. You're a fan of Philip K. Dick. So.
I love Philip K. Dick. I love things that make me question reality and make me feel weird and freaked out a little bit. And this, I mean, it's very sort of the device of the visual effect of like that tunnel that you go through. I mean, it's in every 80s and 90s movie.
It's definitely in the 90s movies.
Yes.
I can point some out to you. Like, it kind of happens in Johnny Mnemonic. And it definitely happens in Virtuosity, which is an early movie with Russell Crowe and Philadelphia.
Tom Hanks?
No, the other one.
Denzel Washington?
Yeah. Yeah. Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. It's an early Russell Crowe vehicle where he plays the virtual, he plays the artificial intelligence that was birthed by computerized recreations of the minds of all these serial killers and madmen.
Oh my gosh. That's genius.
We may watch that movie.
That sounds kind of cool. Dumb, but kind of cool.
It's very dumb and it's very cool. So
I was thinking when I saw the visual, like the tunnel of this show I used to watch. I don't know if we got it on Netflix DVD or what, but I think it's called Sliders.
I know Sliders.
Yes, where they slide.
I watched that. I watched the premiere episode when that came out on Fox.
I liked it as a kid. I mean, I got tired of it after like the first 2 seasons or whatever. But
there were a lot of behind the scenes problems in that show, so that's why it got bad. But I think they're going to try to do a revival show of it soon.
Huh. That was a fun show. I remember as a kid, but I remember specifically that tunnel effect, and it changed as the show went on. It got like updated or whatever. But I always enjoyed it. It's always a fun visual thing. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything super crazy, and it's still cool. But I loved it, and I love that sort of they're on like a sort of barren planet, but the sky is replaced with something else.
Well, with the fast time lapse of the clouds going by.
Yeah,
they always do that.
It's cool. If it ain't broke.
Yeah, that's true.
But also, you should try and find your new visual ideas instead of repeating old ones. But in a movie like this,
well, what I liked about that scene in regards to that was when Emilio Estevez realized that Anthony Hopkins was stalling him for time, and then you see the aperture open up so that Mick Jagger could walk into the virtual reality chamber. So there's that portal that opens up that leads out into real space. Oh, yeah, it's kind of like the holodeck on Star Trek: The Next Generation, when the door is open and then you see the hallway from outside.
Yes, even
though like inside it's the middle of the forest. So
it's cool.
That was fun.
It reminds me of the Star Trek movie where they're on the planet where God is.
Star Trek 5.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's like my
Final Frontier.
Yeah, that's like my favorite scene. As a kid, I was like, again, I loved having existential crisis as a kid.
That's an interesting movie to bring up.
Yeah. We should watch that one. I have fond memories of it.
I would love... Well, hey, here's the thing. If we're going to watch one, Star Trek original movie, okay? We have to watch them all, and we have to watch them all in order, okay? Which I'm willing to do. Are you willing to do?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'd have to find a replacement. A challenging, a challenger that I would contrast with. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's fine. Because the thing is, we don't have to watch Star Trek 5. We can watch Star Trek 5 as a standalone. But we really shouldn't.
I think it would hurt your brain too much in your heart.
I'd just be going, oh man, but what about Star Trek 1? And Star Trek 2? And Star Trek 3? And Star Trek 4? And Star Trek 6? Because the thing is, Star Trek 5, it's the worst one. The original one. And that's the one you want to watch. And it breaks my heart.
That's okay.
Okay.
We can maybe watch all of them.
Okay.
There's just so many movies in the world.
I understand.
And we can't watch them all.
I understand. We can watch Star Trek 5. We can watch Star Trek 5.
No.
It's okay.
No.
It's okay. It's okay. I think it'd be fun because, watch them out of order. It's fine.
I am open, keyword open, to the idea of watching.
No, we'll just watch Star Trek 5.
I'm not going to pick it. It's not going to be my pick.
It's not. Well, it has to be your pick. But anyway, because I'm not going to pick Star Trek 5. I'll pick something else. But the thing is I was thinking, well, maybe we could watch the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but only the good ones, because that would be 1, 2, 3, and then Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So that's only 4. So, but Nightmare on Elm Street's very mainstream, and
I don't care.
It's also been talked about.
I don't care what you pick.
Okay.
I'm not going to pick episode 5. I was just talking about the scene.
You know what you're doing.
Yes. And you can do whatever you want, and I'll watch whatever movies you pick.
Okay, so Star Trek 5 in Freejack.
Yeah, I just love that sort of feeling of the being desolate on a desolate planet and a reality that's not reality, and it's cool. I enjoy those devices in movies. I enjoy whenever 2001: A Space Odyssey, when they're in a freaking dreamland.
Yeah,
it's cool. No matter if the movie isn't the best movie ever, it's still cool.
A lot of people think it is the best movie ever.
I was talking about Freejack.
Oh, I thought you were talking about 2001.
2001 was pretty good.
I'd rather watch Freejack.
That's fair. I understand. It's pretty long.
It's slow and it's very quiet. Oh my God, is it quiet?
Nice and quiet. Relaxing movie.
No, I have to watch the screen and see nothing happening. And then it takes so long, I can't connect what things are important or not.
It's an experience. It's a ride.
It's not a ride. It's not a ride.
It's a slow walk in an existential park in the evening.
It's you know what kind of ride it is? It's like, it's coming.
It's the President's Hall of Fame at the Disney.
No. It's worse than that. It's like when your grandparents get too old to walk up the stairs. So they have to install that chair that, slowly slides up the stairs. Thing is like you do that, but it's for a skyscraper. So you live on the, the 200th floor. So you have to ride that little chair all the way up to the 200th floor.
I disagree.
That's the kind of ride 2001: A Space Odyssey is.
Okay, but it's scenically beautiful.
Yeah, but there's no motion. Like there's no motion.
Whatever. Okay. Agree to disagree.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna recut that movie like I did for my Mopix 2 movie.
You're gonna recut that movie like you did with my movie?
No, not your movie, but with my movie, where it's just the stills. And then I'll just do the dialogue, and it won't be any different.
You should just recut the whole movie and make it way less boring, according to your.
Maybe. Well, Topher Grace, he edited the Lord of the Rings trilogy down to a single movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, so maybe I could do it, but I would rather just make, instead of like the frames, just make everything stills.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure you would. You would do that for every movie, wouldn't you?
I definitely do it for 2001: A Space Odyssey because it wouldn't be much different. It'd be fun. So funny to see me do that with the part where like the dude's like walking like in a circle.
I think that would be way more boring than 2001.
Not by much.
Okay. What else should we talk about?
Let's see. Oh, well, we haven't talked about the music yet. The score.
I didn't notice the score that much.
Oh, God. I love the score. Because like it starts out and it's not what you expect from like a sci-fi action movie. It's 40s blues jazz music.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So the section really sets that mood.
Yeah.
That melancholy noir kind of mood, and it's all throughout the movie. The only time we don't hear it is at the end. Where it's that weird rock song. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
That's fair.
A producer must have made that decision.
Yeah. That song must have been made for the movie or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm like, well, it would make sense if there was like more rock songs and then they wanted to sell the album of Freejack, at Warner Brothers or whatever records.
Yeah.
But they don't have that kind of music. You know, it's not rock music throughout. It's 40s noir, you know, blues jazz, which is, oh my God, it's so great. It's so great.
Yeah. I remember there's the jazz player in the sort of like the park with all the homeless people and stuff.
Yeah, the lone saxophone player.
Yes. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful little aside.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's so great because, and like you hear it right off with the intro at the beginning of the movie. And it's so great because it goes from like melancholy to romantic to like action packed. And so it kind of reminded me of the original soundtrack for the Mandalorian TV show because, like, you know, that's all instrumentals, but it's like orchestral instrumentals. And so it really reminded me of that.
Huh.
Yeah.
I like it whenever people make decisions like that. It's much more interesting than just the techno sort of futuristic. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Than everything made in a synthesizer. It's cool.
Yeah. But I think that really kind of plays up to the cyberpunk part. Like, imagine if Blade Runner with the blues jazz soundtrack.
That would be hardcore. It'd be like Taxi Driver. Like with a Taxi Driver soundtrack. Oh, that'd be freaking sick.
I haven't seen Taxi Driver yet, so.
What?
I know.
I'll have to pick it or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe when you do your Star Trek marathon, I can do a Scorsese marathon.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. You watch Hugo?
No, I mean that's like one of Sierra's favorite movies.
We can watch Shutter Island.
No, I'm gonna pick my favorite Scorsese movies, which is Bringing Out the Dead.
Okay.
And I want to watch King of Comedy because I heard that's good. I haven't seen that.
Okay, that works.
And Taxi Driver and Silence.
Okay.
I haven't seen Age of Innocence or whatever that is, but I've heard that's interesting.
Okay.
Anyways.
So the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack.
I didn't notice it too much, but I did notice the sax, and I enjoyed the sax.
Well, if you don't notice the music, then they say then the music's doing its job.
Yeah.
But I noticed it for sure. I loved it.
One thing I remembered that I wanted to talk about. This movie opens on Emilio Estevez's butt. His bare thighs.
Well, yeah, just his bare thighs, you know. Nothing's
he's wearing underwear, but it's just like, that's an interesting choice. Just this huge meaty thighs.
So, I mean, I try to notice this for all the movies I watch. If I'm right, if I was paying attention, we don't get to know anybody's names until like way, pretty deep into the movie. We don't I don't think I found Alex Furlong's name until like he goes to his old apartment and there's already somebody living there. And so he goes, who are you? I'm Alex Furlong. I don't think Rene Russo calls him by Alex, at the beginning. And then that's also when we learn about Julie's name, when he says, Julie used to live here. I think we find out Brad's name. Like, I think he's the first name we learn about because he introduces Brad. This is Brad to Julie. At the very beginning. Or I think the first guy. That we learn the name of is actually, what is it? Hold on. Okay. I think the first name that we find out is the one for Mick Jagger, which is Vicendak. Victor Vicendak.
That's great. I don't know. Didn't Brad say his name when I introduced him to the? I
don't think so. I think he was just like, yeah, you see this face? He's clean cut,
drug free.
Yeah. But he doesn't actually say his name. But also Emilio Estevez calls the other guy, okay, Mr. Plug.
Yeah.
So great. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Make sure you have the characters call each other by their names at the very beginning of the movie, right when they're introduced.
It is annoying though sometimes, because sometimes it can be forced. So don't make it forced.
I mean,
be like,
if your movie doesn't need it, Like, if there's a specific reason why we shouldn't know the names of these characters, but there's no reason why we shouldn't know the name of these characters in this movie.
Yeah, but you just can't have people saying, "It's good to see you again, Stephen R. Pate."
Well, no. Well, I mean, you can just do the first name. Like,
yeah.
Hey, Alex, get up. We got to get ready for the race.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I got to do.
That's
okay, true. Julie. That's all. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do.
You sound like a writer or something.
Gee, wonder why. So, it's one of those things I take note of. Now that I know about movies and how to write, it's definitely something I notice.
Mm-hmm.
Can we kind of make fun of the movie?
Yeah, sure. I don't know how to make fun of. I don't know where to start.
Whoa.
Let's start with the lobotomizer machine.
Well, I can start before there. Because Emilio Estevez, he's kind of a short king in this movie. I mean, I love him for it. But it's very funny because at the beginning when they're at the racetrack, did you notice it too?
Yeah, I definitely noticed.
So, you have the full 2-shot of him and Rene Russo. Rene Russo, she has like 2 inches on him. And then it goes to the medium 2-shot, back and forth. And I'm like, he's got to be on a quarter apple or something.
Yeah.
Because there's not that much. Yeah, they lifted him up. I'm sure.
I did notice that. Yeah,
it's hard not to. Yeah, it's hard not to.
I wonder, why they chose Emilio Estevez. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good point.
Oh, well, I'm thinking of again the cool. I'm not making fun of it now. I'm thinking of Boone's character when he freaking gets shot. And then he has this he freaking pulls out the samurai sword like a badass and he just slowly impales the guy.
Yeah, which is the only time he uses that sword, when he carries it halfway throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could have made Boone so much better than he was.
For sure.
Could have had so much more screen time. He could have been freaking like in Strange Days.
Oh yeah, Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane whenever they were trying to lobotomize him. And then he just goes around zapping everyone. There's a lot of lightning bolts in this movie. A lot of lightning bolts.
I mean, I love that he was the one guy that they were trying to stun, and it winds up that everyone else but him gets stunned. Yes. That's silly. So.
Oh boy. I liked whenever they had the freaking Brad is showing him his apartment, and he pulls down that wall of cardboard boxes, and it's like his other apartment, his secret apartment. That was cool.
That was very cool.
I'm a sucker for hidden doors and trap doors. Oh, but one thing I did like, this was a script thing that I liked. Brad's showing him into his private apartment, and he hands him a hubcap, and he's like, "Oh, you're an antique ashtray." And then you see Brad looking at Estevez in the mirror and watching him as Estevez looks at the hubcap. And Estevez, it's a 62 Porsche or 64 Porsche. And he's like, it is you.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I like that little character test of and it wasn't, I like how they didn't make a big deal of it either. They just showed Brad watching him, sort of menacingly through the mirror. I thought that was a beautiful little device that they had. That was cool.
Oh, David Johansen, he's great. He was great in this movie.
And on the script, I like that part that they wrote into the script and direction.
Yeah.
They didn't make a huge deal of it. They just, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, very subtle.
I'm trying to think of other ways to make fun of it.
There's not that much.
There's one line, I forget what he said, but I think it must have been ADR, because Emilio Estevez just screams 2 lines in his larger line. I forget. I think it was when they were on the track. But it was he was just yeah, and then I went to the store, and then I got my groceries in, and then I checked out the line. And I noticed the screams whenever there was a car chase.
Okay.
And they were people were dodging out of the way of the cars. It wasn't your classic Willem screams. It was very much, I don't know, it was just, the screams sounded ridiculous and fun. I like that they didn't reuse old screams. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this movie.
Okay.
Costumes. The costumes were great.
Okay.
I love Mick Jagger's costumes. I didn't like the helmets so much. The helmets were really... The helmets were pretty dumb.
Well, there was that one part where
Emilio Estevez kills one of the guards.
Well, just a little bit before that, because what's going on is Emilio Estevez, he's getting chased by Mick Jagger and the Bonejackers, but he's also getting chased by Jonathan Banks' security forces, and the security forces are using handguns to try to actually kill Emilio Estevez, while the Bonejackers are using stunners that shoot animated light, energy pulses that stun people. And so, like, they wind up in this abandoned factory or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so Emilio Estevez is trying to hide from both. So there's this one Bonejacker, and he tries to get away. He tries to sneak up on him with a pipe and smacks him right on the helmet. It doesn't faze the guy at all. And Emilio Estevez hits his stunner out of his hands. So the guy, he's like really big and starts, just wailing on, Emilio Estevez, happens to hit him right next to the stunner. But also there's electrical wires just dangling. So Emilio Estevez gets the idea to just shoot the cord that goes up and is dangling. The end of it is dangling by the guy. And that just absolutely electrocutes him.
Yes.
And so Emilio Estevez puts on that ridiculous helmet.
It conveniently doesn't zap Estevez, though.
Yeah.
Which the guy is literally stepping on his arm.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, he's got rubber boots. That's why.
True. Okay. Right.
It all makes sense.
The rubber boots. It all makes sense. But yes, Estevez puts on only the helmet.
Yeah. And then you have Mick Jagger, who's trying to, find him and stalk him, so it's like a cat and mouse game, but he's wearing a ridiculous helmet too. Yeah. It's absolutely ludicrous.
Like, they just could have made him a little bit smaller and they would have looked a lot cooler.
I mean, or, just make it more curvier. I mean, it's just too bulky. It's just too big. It's just too noticeable.
It's too big and too high up on their head.
Yeah.
Anyways.
They should, Starship Troopers wasn't made yet, so they couldn't use the body armor and helmets from that for everything else.
True.
So,
But the helmets were dumb.
Yeah, it's very dumb.
But the costumes, again, were cool. I liked Mick Jagger's sort of dog tag clothing. I don't know.
Epaulettes. The best costuming thing in all of this movie. The eye patch glasses.
Yes.
That Isai Morales wore.
I love that. We get a reveal that his eye patch, but he has both eyes.
Yeah, I know.
That was so dumb. I was like, "What? Come on! At least give us a grayed out eye or something."
Yeah, for sure.
That's weird.
Yeah.
But he did have scars on that side of his face.
Yeah.
But why not just go the extra mile and give him a gray eye?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're gonna say? What were you gonna say?
Yeah. I just love the eye patch glasses.
I like it too.
Okay, great. Oh, another thing I kind of noticed was at the diner scene. You mentioned that Emilio Estevez, he doesn't have a lot of range. But when he was at the diner scene, he was looking at that guy eating the blue plate special that he waited 20 minutes for that shit. And so Emilio Estevez starts eyeballing him. So that's when he pulls out a pistol and he says, keep looking at me, I'm going to shoot you or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Emilio Estevez, he puts his own pistol on, on the table, and he kind of leans in and gives that smirk. That's the Billy the Kid smirk from when he was in Young Guns.
Ah.
Yeah, I noticed that. And that's the only genuine emotion, genuine looking emotion that we get from Emilio Estevez.
Or whenever he, but there's another classic Emilio Estevez move. Whenever she slaps him and he just looks at him and then laughs in his face.
Yeah.
This is like a Repo Man move.
Yeah, for sure.
But his laugh is so weird.
Yeah. So
I'm good.
Okay, I think I'm good too.
Do you want to talk about the Revolution Bar? The Zolly, that was nice.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Go ahead.
So for long, Estevez is at the bar waiting for Julie.
Oh, okay, let me go.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's what happens. Julie has a friend. Okay, Morgan. His name is Morgan, and he's played by John Shea, and he played Lex Luthor in The Adventures of Lois and Clark with Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher.
What the frick is that?
That was a TV show in the 90s about Superman. It was a Superman TV show, but it's called The Adventures of Lois and Clark. You know, like The Adventures of Lewis and Clark. So Superman, The Adventures of Lois and Clark. And he played Lex Luthor.
Ooh, that's cool.
He was also in a syndicated TV show called Mutant X, which is legally distinguishable from the X-Men and all related IP.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, so I love John Shea. He's awesome.
He was pretty good in this.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of a badass in this, but you don't expect it, you know? Yeah. He tosses that grenade in the middle of the bar and to get everybody out there.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Okay, but that's how John Shea is great. So what happens is Julie is talking to Morgan, and so Emilio Estevez is sitting at the bar, and the bartender is like, "Hey, you want a drink?" He's like, "Sure." And so the bartender just hands him the drink. He doesn't know what the drink is.
It's this like blue liquid.
It looks like Ramulanel, but
yes.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
And he just downs the whole thing in like a few gulps, and then immediately we get like this change in facial expression, like, "Oh shit, what have I done?"
He's getting high off a drink.
Yes, and it's this awesome Zolly, which is a zoom out dolly in shot where like the background is getting closer or further or whatever, and then his face stays in roughly the same place. And it's just like this psychedelic effect, and it's a cool shot. But we know he's now zooted.
The most complicated shot in that movie. Just to show that he's fucked up at a bar. but not the most useless Zolly that we've ever seen.
That's true. That's true. Plenty of useless Zollies out there. Plenty of film students just itching to pull out that tool.
Well, that review of that Christian movie.
Oh boy.
No, I love to use this lollies.
We have so many movies we could watch, Steven. So many movies we could watch.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, that was Freejack. I mean,
yeah.
Hey, you want to talk about anything else?
I don't think so. I think we got to everything. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I'll give you a 5-minute head start. One Mississippi. 2 Mississippi.
I love that. Also, though, like that was weird. That was a weird decision. Like, why would Victor do that? You know.
Well, he respects. He respects. Emilio Estevez for the chase. You know.
That's true.
You know, he's Grandma's hero.
Yeah.
Another thing, one other thing though that we haven't talked about is the suicide assistant ads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a theme in a lot of dystopian movies. Like it reminds me of Children of Men.
Well, there's a Robert W. Chambers story called The Repairer of Reputations. And Robert W. Chambers, he started out as like a romance writer, a romance author. And then he wrote horror. He did the King in Yellow stories.
Okay.
Do you know about the King in Yellow?
No.
The King in Yellow, in the universe of his stories, is a play that is so horrific and terrible that when you read it, it alters your mind and you play out as these characters, and then you eventually kill yourself or die in some way. And so that was a huge influence on H.P. Lovecraft and his Cthulhu mythos. So the King in Yellow is usually, it's also a part of the Cthulhu mythos as well. But the thing is like in the Repair of Reputations, you find out that it's like an alternate universe because there are like suicide booths. Yeah.
So that's old. Like
yeah. And then the biggest movie to have suicide booths is Soylent Green, which we are definitely watching. I genuinely love that movie. But yeah, that's the big movie about, that has suicide booths. But the thing is like, there are ads advertising like suicide assistance, but they're like big, huge TV screens on skyscrapers. So, it kind of foretells like what we have to deal with here. But it also reminds me of like Blade Runner. It's like a cheaper version of what they tried to do in Blade Runner with like the huge Atari ad, or the geisha woman in Blade Runner.
Yeah. Interesting themes, though, that just everything is crap.
Yeah.
Everything is shit in the future.
Yeah. Very dystopian.
I did like, it was weird, but it genuinely like freaked me out a little bit whenever the hooded cult high priest is like talking. And then he turns around and it's Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
Like that actually was like, oh, whoa. And then he like disappears into like electric, like
the
digital.
video. Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
That was a neat little thing.
I like the sort of mysticism. I'm a fan of mysticism in movies in general.
Well, the thing is like this movie isn't mystic at all. It's science and technology and corporatism taking over the symbols of mysticism for profit.
Yeah.
Basically.
I thought that was, I don't know, I just like it as an idea. And I think it's cool.
Yeah.
But that is, it's fun. It's just a fun idea, is the spiritual switchboard and uploading your consciousness. I mean, it's been an idea that's been around for a while, but it never gets old. It can be endlessly used, I think.
Well, I should say that this movie, it's adapted very loosely from a 1959 science fiction novel called Immortality, Inc. by Robert Sheckley. So who knows, maybe the book is able to cover more of the themes that, got lost in this movie.
I saw that in the beginning too, that was based on a book. And it does feel like there's more thought that went into like the minutia of certain things. Like whenever there's this machine in the beginning that Furlong gets teleported into, and I noticed that it gets elevated into the air, and I was like, oh, that must be because he's in the air as he dies. So it's cool. They have to be at the exact coordinates. I was like, I wonder if that's something that was in the book. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting detail.
Oh no! That's from the Time Machine. The Time Machine,
like the
movie.
Wells?
They made. Oh, hold on. Let me pull up the info.
You had to be in the exact same place and location in order to teleport, or what?
Yeah. Okay, so The Time Machine was a 1960 movie that was based off of the story by a novella by H.G. Wells. And the movie has Rod Taylor as the time traveler, okay? And so he invents a time machine, and it can go forwards and backwards in time, but not in space. So, like in the movie, he stays where he's at and is going through time. And so, like, across the street from him is like a storefront. And so, like, as his house is like, I think it's like taken away. So I don't remember. But like across the street is a storefront. And so you see the window mannequin changing fashions from the 1800s through the 1960s and then on ahead.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea, though, that it just makes it feel more real.
Yeah.
There's, it's not just a machine that can get you anywhere at any time. It has limits and a restrictive logic. I think that's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But I thought it was cool that you could almost feel certain things were bolstered by a backstory from the book. It felt like in this movie, Freejack.
Yeah.
With the terms and words that they probably would have maybe not have like come up with had it been just the screenplay or something.
I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, here's the thing: the book was written in 1959. So they're not calling anybody Freejacks or Bonejackers. That's all Blade Runner stuff. For sure. Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, I gotta read the book.
Love to see somebody from the 1950s use cyberpunk lingo.
Could be cool. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else? Okay, well, that was Freejack.
That was what? Is this movie 3? This is movie 3 in our Estevez.
Yeah.
In our Estevez marathon.
Yep. And next is your pick.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if it'll be an Estevez movie.
That's okay. Maybe we can take a break from Emilio Estevez.
We have Men at Work still. We have to watch, right?
Yeah. I'm debating.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah.
Cool beans. Well.
Okay. All right. Well, let's end this episode.
Sounds good. Well,
love talking about Freejack, but all good things must come to an end.
That was Freejack, and this was Your Movie, My Movie,
with Dan
and Steve.
All right, guys. We'll see you next episode.
Bye now.
Take care, guys.
But before we go, guys, we have a Patreon page. Dan, why don't you tell them about it?
We have a few tiers. Tier 1 is our newsletter in the PDF form. You can read along on our opinion pieces about various topics. Very fun. What's on the next tier, Steve?
Well, the next tier is the $5 tier, where subscribers can listen to an audio version of the newsletter. So if you guys want to support the show, just go to patreon.com/yourmoviemymoviepodcast.
We'd appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.